How much do you need to save to retire at 50? 3 million? 5? For most people, that sounds kind of unrealistic. But the truth is, the amount can be significantly less than you think if you allocate your money correctly. Now, I'll show you how to do it. Let's take a specific example. You're 50 years old, you save $2 million, dollars, and you want to quit your job. The main question is, will this money last for 40 years? And this is where most people make one mistake. They treat all their money the same, but they should treat it differently, because the money you'll need tomorrow and the money you'll need in 20 years should work in completely different ways. This is exactly what the three bucket strategy is built on. Why three buckets anyway? The idea is simple. We divide your money into three parts depending on when you'll need it. We keep near-term money safe and invest long-term money for growth. And here's why this is especially important. When you retire early, the biggest risk awaits you right at the beginning. Imagine you've just retired, and then the market drops by 30%. If you have to sell stocks at a low price just to pay the bills, you could damage your portfolio so much that it won't recover, even if the market bounces back later. This is the main trap of early retirement, and the three buckets address it directly. Bucket number one, money for living right now. This covers your expenses for the next 5 to 8 years. It's kept in something safe and boring. Cash, short-term bonds. The goal isn't growth, but stability. If the market crashes in your first years of retirement, you won't have to sell anything at a loss. You just live comfortably on this money. Bucket number two, the bridge. This is money for the next period, roughly from year 8 to 15, invested moderately, some in stocks for growth, some in bonds for stability. Its job is to gradually refill the first bucket when the market is performing well. Bucket number three, money for the distant future. You'll need this in 15 years or more, so you can safely invest it in stocks for maximum growth. And the most important rule, we don't touch this bucket for many years. It has time to weather any market drops and recover, and then support you in your old age. When you look at all your money as one big pile, it becomes scary to touch it. But when you've sorted it into three buckets, it's immediately clear what to take from where and when. The plan becomes calm and manageable. Now, with real numbers, let's take a person who wants to live comfortably in retirement. He retires at 50 with $2 million. dollars. He wants to spend $120,000 a year from age 50 to 66, and from 67, when Social Security kicks in, he's ready to reduce spending to $100,000 a year. Why does spending decrease? Of course, no one wakes up on their 67th birthday thinking, that's it, now I'm spending less. But in fact, that's exactly what happens. People spend more in their 50s and early 60s when they're full of energy and travel, and then expenses naturally start to go down. This is evident across all the statistics. So starting at 67, Social Security kicks in at about $43,200 a year, which means from their own portfolio, a person will only need to draw $56,800 a year. The portfolio turns from the main source of money into a supplement to the pension. This significantly changes the situation. By the way, if you like this strategy, then give it a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And let me know in the comments at what age you'd like to retire. I read every single comment. Let's get back to it. Bucket number one, ages 50 to 57. This bucket covers 8 years of life, so everything here is as secure as possible. The money is kept in cash and short-term bonds. Today, this yields about 4% annually, and after inflation, about 2% remains. With that calculation, for 8 years of spending, you need about $950,000. To many, it might seem that holding 8 years of expenses entirely without stocks is too cautious. But remember, during these years, you're living solely off the portfolio. There's no salary anymore. Then such a cushion no longer seems excessive. It all depends on how soundly you want to sleep at night. And here's the main shift in mindset. This money doesn't need to be saved, it needs to be spent. That is exactly what its job is. You honestly tell yourself, this bucket exists to feed me, and in return, you give the rest of the money the most valuable thing, time. Time to grow and time to calmly weather bad markets. Bucket number two, ages 58 to 66. This is the bridge bucket. It feeds you from 58 to 66, for another 9 years. Here, you already have to account for inflation. The same $120,000 in today's money will turn into $140,000 in a few years, and then into $165,000 on paper. To provide for that today, you need to set aside about $700,000 in this bucket. Why is it even necessary? We have a 17-year gap between retiring at 50 and the state pension at 67. Keeping this entire amount as dead weight in cash is far too wasteful. The money needs to work and grow for part of the time. So there's a balance here. Part in stocks for growth, part in bonds for security. And when the market is up, you transfer money from here into the first bucket, replenishing it. In many plans, there are only two buckets, but with such a long retirement, a third middle bucket helps avoid overloading the safety cushion while keeping risk under control. Bucket number 3, ages 67 and up. This is the growth bucket, and we don't touch it until age 67. From 67 on, you need $100,000 a year. Of that, $43,200 is provided by Social Security, so we only draw $56,800 from the portfolio. If we calculate for age 67, you'd need about $1 million for that. And since this money has a full 17 years to grow, today, at age 50, you only need to put $285,000 into this bucket. Yes, compared to the other buckets, it looks modest, especially considering this bucket has to support you for 20 to 30 years. How is that possible? The thing is, we don't touch it for 17 years, meaning it can easily weather any market volatility, even the most severe kind. I'll show you using the toughest example in history. Let's take 1973, one of the worst possible times to start investing. You invested $285,000 right before the crash. Year 1, minus 14%. Year 2, minus 26%. In 2 years, you've lost more than a third. This is exactly the nightmare that everyone is afraid of. But what's next? The market recovers. Years of growth follow at 20 or 30%. If you just didn't touch that money for 17 years, your $285,000 would have grown to about $1.8 million. That's more than a six-fold increase. Despite the terrible start, compound interest did its job because we left the money alone. Let's put it all together. That's the whole strategy. Bucket number 1, safety from age 50 to 57. Bucket number 2, the bridge from age 58 to 66. Bucket number 3, age 67 and beyond. In total, we need $1,940,000, and our hero had $2 million. So there's still a small cushion left over. What does this mean in practice? You can comfortably spend $120,000 a year in your active 50s and 60s, then drop to $100,000 when Social Security kicks in. If the third bucket grows more than needed, like in the 1973 example, you gain freedom. You can spend more, help your kids, leave an inheritance, or do charity work. And remember the main thing, the first two buckets are money meant to be spent. That's exactly what they're for. Spending what you've saved for so long is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, the third bucket grows steadily and secures your later years. We moved away from the useless question, will I have enough money forever, and asked the right one, how much do I need and when? When you look at retirement this way, through buckets, it suddenly stops being an unreachable dream. So tell me, could you live on $10,000 a month at age 50 with a $2 million portfolio? Does early retirement seem a bit more realistic to you now? Let me know in the comments and give this a like. Thanks everyone. Bye everyone.